Well, welcome everybody to the 2017 NHRU RAMS Grand Final. We're here at number 2 Sports Ground in what has been a culmination of a very big year, one of the most even years we've seen in NHRU history in recent years. It's a lovely day, topping about 32 degrees. The crowd has really filled up here. We've seen some magnificent rugby, with Wanderers winning 3rd grade, Merriweather Carlton winning on the bell in 2nd grade. And now, the big one, Hamilton Hawks taking on the 2 Blues, the Wanderers. And with me, up in the commentary box, as always, big bad Steve Barretto. How are you, Steve?
Good, Gareth. Good, mate. Good to be here. What a beautiful day for a day. And as you said, it's one of the most evenly contested finals. I'm pretty sure both coaches don't really have an idea as to... we've just seen a bit
We've seen our first casualty today from the marching koalas down there. Unfortunate incident. A young kid's fainted, so that starts off the broadcast pretty well, Steve. Yeah. And that's probably a sign of things to come here, with plenty of tough stuff out there in the middle. It is a very hot day out of the middle. I was out there doing some interviews earlier on, and the humidity out there, it's just sucking out of the grass. Yeah, no, it's
going to be conducive to a good running game, what you'd think, and the ground's certainly probably hardened up over the week, so watch out for the uneven bounces, and as I said, it's all in the bounce of the ball at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is, and with us right now, joining us from the Newcastle Herald, James Gardner. James, you gave a pretty good summation of the grand final in the paper today, and indeed yesterday at the Hawthorn Club lunch. Has anything changed in your mind?
No, it hasn't. I think it's the weather maybe slightly in favour of Wanderers. They're probably a bit lighter on the ground. Hamilton's got a couple of real big boppers in their side. Farbe Silas, 134 kilo, big Sever Rockabara. I think he clocks the scales at 120. So the heat might be take a bit of sting out of them, and they haven't played for 2 weeks. So I know they'll be conditioned well. With the conditions, it's going to get cooler. That subtly always whips up in the second half here. Wanderers are going to have to get on the front foot early and going to have to be in front and comfortably, I think, if they're going to win this one. If it's a close tussle, they're Hamilton's big game experience and the way they just grasp and seize the big moments. They're the big moment team. Wanderers have to blow them away early and keep the foot on the throat.
Yes, certainly do. And I mean, you mentioned the big players there from Hamilton. Can that be combated or, indeed stopped by the back row of Wanderers? Steve, you had a lot to do with the Wanderers scrum over the last couple of weeks. Scrum doctors.
I've copped a bit as well, but no, I have a funny feeling that Hamilton might be at a good advantage today with the fresh bench and subs, and we indicated about how you said, Jim, about heavy, Hamilton Hawks players, but they are going to have that fresh bench to call on, as opposed to a pretty dejected bench, having just lost the 2nd grade grand final and played in the heat of day, so could prove a pretty decisive factor, I think, later. I don't know what your thoughts on that would be.
Well, I definitely think one of the decisive factors is the 2 old stalwarts, the halfbacks, coming into both sides, Paul Dannon and indeed Luke Sherwood as well. What are your thoughts on that? And they could definitely decide the game.
Well, they're both fiery little mongrels, aren't they? They're real competitors. They love the contest. They'll be napping at each other. They'll be sledging each other. They'll be niggling away. 2 sort of different players. Luke Sherwood a bit like an extra breakaway at times. He actually started the year playing breakaway. I don't know why he wanted to go back down the grades and play breakaway when he's one of the best halfbacks. He's not the best halfback in the competition. Paulie Dan, we haven't seen him for a couple of years. It wasn't that long ago, probably 5 years. He was playing 1st grade at Manly and also came back here and played New South Wales Country. But I reckon he's dropped about 5 or 6 kilo on those days, and there's not much of him, but he's got a big ticker, and he's also a very good goal kicker, which in grand finals we all know how important those extra points when they're on offer are to take.
Yes, indeed. And both backlines, too. It's an interesting matchup out there, especially, I guess, the back 3. The Wanderers, of course, have got speed to burn out there. But indeed, the Hamilton side with Vasagotti and McNeil, they're safe players, they're different players. But Vasagotti, and Surly Bainavali, they can create something from nothing as well.
They have. It's been a bit of a change of the way Hamilton's played. This year, their 2 leading try scorers have been their guys in the forward. Steve Sione scored 23 from number 8, and big Sever Rockabora, I think he plays number 6, but he's as big as any second rower, has scored 13, whereas Surly Bainavali's only scored 9. For him, that's not a great dividend, whereas you look at the Wanderers back 3, in particular, Tim Marsh I think he scored 18 tries, Josh McCormack 18 tries, and Billy Coffey 11 tries in just 13 games. So if they get a bit of space, we know they got wheels. It's a matter of whether or not they take those opportunities where they can get to the edges. There's no doubt Hamilton will try and cut off that supply. We saw Southern Beach try it last week. They weren't able to do it, and they were the big plays. The fast men were the ones that turned that match. And Yeah, it's going to be, mate. It's going to be a ripper. Put it that way.
Yeah, well, both sides certainly play a controlled brand of football. Very good off the set piece. Very good phase play. Obviously, you've had a lot to do with the scrum, but I mean the line out. Bubba Coleman, such a good exponent, such a good coach at the set piece. How do you think? Yeah, there's some big bodies in that Hamilton side. How do you think the Wanderers can get away with a few wins at the line out?
Yeah, well, as you touched on, Gareth, Hamilton Hawks are just so well drilled in pretty much all of their set plays, be it scrums, lineouts, and then it's kind of spearheaded by Pete Maxwell today. He's an old head. He's years of experience, and I don't think there's going to be too much margin for error, but I doubt there's going to be many errors made from Pete Maxwell's point of view. I think, I think if Wanderers can match them up front, I think it could make for an interesting game because, in theory, I suppose the Wanderers have it over the Hamilton backs. Big call to say, but
I think that is a big call considering, Hamilton finishing the competition as minor premiers. They do score a lot of tries on the wings and on the fringes as well. I mean, they got two of the best ball running centres in Paddy Kilmurray and Dylan Amante as well. But again, Dylan Rowney, he's probably the form centre of the competition, Jimmy.
Indeed, I think that's the matchup of the game. Ratu Delamante against Dylan Rowney, particularly in defence. Dylan loves getting on the outside of Blake, so he gets that big left-hand palm of his out. And once he gets outside him, he draws the winger in and then Tim Marsh is off. That's going to be a big defensive job for Delamante. And Delamante, too, he's pretty handy on his feet. Very strong, particularly if there's a turnover ball. He gets it and they're off. And Dylan Rowney, I guess, if anything, there is a weakness about his game. It is sometimes he grabs a bit when he doesn't go low. So, key match-up. Whichever one finishes on top of there, I think we'll go a long way to winning.
And we see now the two sides coming out onto the ground. The Hamilton Hawks, the minor premiers, led out by their captain, Joe Ackersdyke, in what is going to be a very big game here at number 2 Sports Ground. There we see Varve Sela, the anchor for the scrum, a man after your own heart, or after our own hearts, indeed, up here in the commentary box for Bar TV Sports.
Yeah, no, he's there's no doubt about it. He's been key to the success in scrums of recent years, and that's not going to change today. He's certainly a player that's going to have to come out and stabilise everything, and there's probably no doubt he will.
We see the Hawk out there as well. Is that Lemons dressed up as the Hawk there, Jimmy?
The Hawk has taken some tumbles in seasons past. I remember he got tackled by a Striker one day. The one guy we haven't mentioned so far, Steve Lamont. Yeah. He was the man of the match in last year's grand final. He's led the club to 4 grand finals. He's been man of the match in 2 of them. He broke his arm in June, came back in 3rd grade last week. He's going to play a key role off the bench. I noticed he's got his thigh strapped, which suggests to me they may be thinking about him playing in the back row or at hooker. He will have an impact, no matter an influence when it won't be if, it's when he comes on.
Yeah, definitely. I think, speaking to Bubba Coleman, before the game, 15 minutes to go is probably the time where they're going to use Steve Lamont coming in, maybe to the back row to facilitate some of these bigger guys getting tired, knocking up. It's going to be a very hot day, as we mentioned out there. And you can see now the Wanderers coming onto the field, led by their captain, Luke Simmons. And, of course, the 5'8" matchup as well. It's an interesting battle out there, Steve.
Yeah, no, I mean, we say it all the time. They're the quarterbacks, aren't they, of the game, and essentially are probably the key component. Kicking today, you've got to take your points on offer. I think for me, Luke has been pretty dead on the last couple of weeks, and if he can continue that, the Hawks are going to have to be pretty wary of the discipline and within firing range. Yeah,
certainly. Luke mentioned you can see him at the back of the guys shaking hands there, keeping his spot ahead of Cal McDonald. A little bit of controversy during the week. Cal McDonald been there for the last couple of years, but mentioned certainly adds a different dimension to this attack.
He does. He straightens him up. He's nice and direct. He gets him on the ad line, and he doesn't overthink things. He'll just do whatever he's told. Whatever Luke Simmons calls at 5'8", if he wants to crash ball, he'll crash it. If he wants to offload, he has got subtlety of hands as well. He can pass the ball in behind. But as you said, massive call to leave Cal out. But their season has really turned around since Luke Simmons and Luke Sherwood came into it. They'd lost 3 straight games to finish the regular season. They lost the qualifying final. Those 2 guys have come in through different circumstances, and they've won their last 2 and been pretty convincing.
Well, we're going to go to the action now. Referee Drew Tonks, the youngest referee to ever adjudicate a grand final here. And it's going to be Hamilton to kick off. Running left to right on your screen with the Wanderers. Will be receiving the ball in the 2 Blues, running towards Market Town. Referee looking to call time on here. And it is indeed time on, and that is a lovely weighted kick to kick off the grand final, Steve.
Great take. Great take. And interesting, Gareth. I think Steve Lamont might be starting here. Just might have spotted him there.
As we go now to Simmons, getting to McCormick, Rowney looking for Coffee, looking for some one-on-one action, early stuff, trying to run over his opposition.
He's wound up, hasn't he?
Nice clean out there. Oh, good defence. And yeah, you're right, Steve Lamont has started the game for all our viewers at home, so the mind game's there. We'll get some info on that. Bubba Coleman, very coy before the match. I did ask him, was Steve starting? And he said definitely not, in no uncertain terms. So it goes now to Simmons, who goes wide to Ham. Ham cut down just before the 40.
Yeah, it's, geez, they're throwing themselves around at the moment, aren't they? And that good pass there from Neelan Marshall at halfback.
Ryan Jackson takes them forward now. We like to see the big prop forwards getting involved. Oh, turnover,
turnover.
Ackers Dyke. Dan now dancing around as he gets put down. So the Hamilton Hawks with a real chance now to attack this Wanderers line as they get set. Alanuka gets it to Sealer. Sealer running wide, running it the smaller back line there for the two Blues. Alanuka gets it in front of Sione, and Sione goes without it. So that's the first mistake of the game, and it's been played at a very fast pace.
You know why I'm smiling, Gareth, don't you?
First scrum.
First scrum, that's right. Obviously, a lot's been said over this week, and
well, a lot's been done. Of course, you've been called in to help out this two Blues scrum. So, what was your advice to them, Steve?
Do you know, I without sort of putting them down, I said, listen, they're a very good scrum. We just need to secure our own ball, and that's going to be the primary focus for Wanderers today. Whereas before that hasn't been certain. Coming up against Hamilton, they've lost a lot of ball against the head, and you just can't afford to do it in grand finals, as they know firsthand.
Yeah, last year, of course, absolutely dominated. It was a close game, but they came away with it, and that's popped up. Sherwood looking for the short arm straight up. Reece Tompkins, the former Nelson Bay player, of course, a good Nelson Bay contingent, as we mentioned all year in this Wanderers side. Dylan Rowney, Cal McDonald not playing today, the Tompkins brothers as well.
Interesting there that Steve Lamont, I think Jimmy might have hit it a nail on the head. He looks like he's playing on the breakaway side there, and so interesting move early on.
It looks like Paulson may have dropped back to the bench. So we'll get a bit more information on that. Maybe there was an injury, and that's a good scrum by the Hawks as they drive the Wanderers back.
Oh, they've lost that one.
Yeah, it's come back. Sione now picks it up from the back, run straight at Simmons. Mention with a good tackle and gets over the top. A little bit isolated there, Sione.
Yeah.
And that's a penalty right in front of the sticks, off his feet. And this should be an early 3 points here, Steve.
Yeah, I'd certainly be taking the 3, but yep, he's indicated the 3 points. Just off his feet there, I think, was it. Subject to having a look at it again, but yeah, again, discipline we talked about is going to be key here. Both sides can't afford to give away penalties, especially like this in front of the post, and give the other team an easy 3 points.
So Paul Dan, he'll have the duties. First attempt of the game. Very good kicker in his own right, taking over from Liam Walker. Unfortunately broke his leg. Little backstory behind that. Of course, Paul Dan's sister, the partner of Liam. So she was happy that Paul got the start, but unhappy that the boyfriend can't do the jobs around the house. And that is a nice kick, and that will get the first points.
Sheds a new light on the saying, break a leg, huh?
So 3-0 in favour of the Hawks.
Yeah, good start from the Hawks. Good scrum, good set play, good defence, and yeah, they'll be pretty happy with that start. 3 points up after 5 minutes.
So McCormick now with the restart. It wobbles away, goes towards the sideline. Dan with a long ball. Alanuka now looking for the pass. He gets caught 22 out. Lamont comes wide He'll run the ball. Steve Lamont, nice run, gets the ball away. Looking for runners was Sione.
Pretty keen to run it out of the 22 by the looks of it, and test this Wanderers defence out pretty early.
And they go wide again. So looking to stretch the Wanderers, as you said. Lamont going to the short side. Another penalty now to the Hawks.
Yeah, not rolling away, I think. Again, poor discipline, and they're going to find themselves now deep in back in their own territory. And yep, certainly going to have a word, I think.
That's a lovely looking kick towards the touchline, but doesn't find touch. He looked for the distance, didn't quite get it. So Simmons now looking to counter-attack. Stops short of the 22 and gets it off the side of his boot for what is not the best clearing kick of his season so far.
No, it certainly wasn't. And looking now, he actually had some numbers and had Hamilton actually napping a little bit. They all expected that ball to go out and to be, they're all here calling the line out. So I would like to have seen him let that go to hand, and it looks like they've messed that lineup up. So that first line out hasn't gone exactly to plan.
Yeah, not the well-executed attempt they wanted. So Sherwood now looking to get the ball wide. Emo with the run. Now Rowney, what can he do? Looking to feed Billy Coffey. Billy Coffey goes and runs into Halanuka. Nice work, and you can see the defensive line by the Hawks. Well disciplined. Oh, nice run there. Nice line by Ryan Jackson,
there.
but he's, turned the ball over.
Just the support a little bit slow to get there for Wanderers. They may have
got this back counter-rucking, and Drew Tonks blowing another penalty in favour of the Hawks.
Yeah, just for sure. That breakdown, Wanderers just a bit slow to get to it. And again, though, the discipline's going to cost them here, and they're going to find themselves deep in the half again, probably 10 to 15 metres out. Maybe 30.
Yeah, he didn't go for the distance that time, Steve. He went for the safety and got it.
Yeah, Pete will be pretty annoyed with his last line out. He wanted to make amends for it here, and
yes, turns 40 in November. Pete Maxwell, one of the oldest players to probably play a grand final, as is this man here, Rockabaro, with a nice run, setting them up centre field.
I think it might be a turnover here.
Yeah, penalty, well played there by the two Blues as they get over the ball. He was isolated somewhat.
Yeah, I think Billy Coffey managed to wrap his ripped body around that ball, and did some good work there at the breakdown. Certainly a relieving kick.
Of course, Billy Coffey, pinpoint athlete, one of Bar TV's major partners, as is Wilson and Co. Instant Axe says scaffolding.
Happy birthday to Wilso too.
Well, this one going over the top. Now Sherwood comes up with a dummy. Oh, it opens up for Sherwood. Sherwood on Dan, runs over him.
What a great strong run from a halfback. Don't you love a halfback that can do that?
Yeah, he certainly. As Jimmy mentioned pre-broadcast, and that's another penalty, and there's bodies flying everywhere. Leland Marshall taking on Sione. Not taking a backward step either, Steve.
No, you're right. Got a little bit heated there. I think be interesting to see what goes down here.
Not a guy I'd particularly be calling out.
No.
He's a big man, is Sione.
I'd be poorly down would be my man.
Yeah, well, Luke Sherwood ran straight at him.
Yeah.
So 1-0 Luke Sherwood so far. Paul Dan.
As he said, Gareth, he's spent a bit of time playing breakaway, so he's certainly an abrasive halfback, and he's not backwards and coming forwards. He likes to run forward.
We've got a couple of tweets in already for the game. Of course, get on Twitter at Bar TV Sports, hashtag Bar TV Sports. Reece York, all the players from Nelson Bay. You'd think the Wanderers would be more successful. Of course, the Fingal Bay Bomboras taking out the A-grade final in rugby league last week. seen on Bar TV Sports. Well done to them as now Sherwood gets it to Simmons. Simmons goes wide. McCormick throws the intercept. And this will be the first try of the game to Sorelli Bainavalu.
They won't be happy with that. I'd like to, I might be giving him too much credit here, but I reckon that might be a little bit of coaching masterclass there. I think they'd be watching the moves, and I think they spotted that one coming. So,
well, even with Sorelli standing in the centre position, you know when the Wanderers attack, they attack in a very flat structure on their line, and they have the second man coming around the back is normally the go-to player. As we see here now, McCormick throws a pass that really shouldn't have been thrown, and we talk about the wheels of Marsh from the Wanderers, but he was getting nowhere near Sorelli Bainavalu, who opens up the scoring for the Hamilton Hawks.
Yeah, Sorelli had way too much of a head start there on Marsh, and I suppose we'll probably never know if that was a coaching masterclass, because I'm sure Bubba won't disparage it, but
he'll claim it.
Yeah,
I'm sure he will claim it.
Oh, that pass had to go to hand, otherwise the Hawks probably would have found themselves in the opposite end of the park.
We'll see Paul Dan there. No mistake, so the score races out now 10-0 in favour of the Hamilton Hawks here at number 2 Sports Ground. It is the 2017 Rams NHRU Grand Final live on Bar TV Sports.
Not quite panic stations yet for Wanderers, but they certainly won't want to be. They certainly want to feel like they'll be next to the score. Yeah.
Dyke going up for that one and not really pressured off the kickoff. Donkins there jumping the gun a little bit, and Sione tackled, and they're going to get called for offside.
Yeah, fair call. I think diving on the player on the ground, I think, was the call, but again, just little errors, little ill discipline.
And Paul Dan finding touch up towards the 50, so yeah, discipline really the telling factor at the moment. The Wanderers haven't really had the ball.
Yeah, just looking at that line-out, look at the first two people to that line-out, the two old stalwarts.
Yeah, Steve Lamont and Pete Maxwell. Obviously questions around Lamont's fitness. He has had quite some time off, but certainly looks like he's not struggling at all. That comes off the top. Oh, nice work by Dyke. Fingertip stuff. Dylan Amate running wide. Matching haircuts with Sione just for grand final day. Flick pass out the back. Here's Bainavalu, the try scorer, going over halfway. Rockabaro.
He's been busy, Rockabaro.
Yeah, nice driving run. He's been a little bit quiet this year compared to other seasons, but certainly in the final series he stepped it up, and that's a nice little kick in behind, turning around Coffey and Simmons.
Yeah, perfectly weighted as well.
So Coffey, they're going to counter here. This is interesting play by the two Blues. Risky play off their own line, and the Hawks flood the breakdown.
Yeah, they got away with that one, but I'll never knock someone for having a go, but sometimes you've got to play the percentages as well. There's numbers
Jackson
out wide here.
Yeah, just looking to assess the situation here. Coffey looking to take a run, running straight at Steve Lamont. Yeah, nice work there by Dave Waller, earning the spot in place of Christensen.
Yeah, you know, we talked a lot about the hard calls the Hawks have had to make. The Wanderers haven't been short of them themselves. So, you know, hard decisions for these two coaches on both sides with Cal McDonald, Dave Waller, and likewise, as we talked about. You might have wimped out of making that decision on Steve Lamont, though. You might have caved.
I dare say Steve would have been in his ear all week. And off the top, here comes Kilmurray. First touch of the game, which is a rarity. Normally the go-to man in attack, and Lamont now offside, I thought there. Mentioned coming in. Off the blind side from Lamont. Here's Sealer throwing the dummy. It was a slow-looking dummy, but fooling nobody.
Don't think he was passing. Good counter-ruck there from Wanderers, and they've won this one back
Yeah,
too.
they've done well, and Tonks adjudicating nicely. Goes to the back to Simmons. Simmons is going to play in behind, and That's not the best kick as well. Falls into the arms of Bainavalu. Now Kilmurray, short ball. McNeil runs onto it solidly.
Yeah, pretty poor decision there, I think, to kick.
Oh, nice run by Ackersdyke down the short side. Another player from the Hawks has had quite a bit of time off this year through injury.
Oh, there's some collisions going on there, Gareth.
Yeah, some big hits out there. As Lamont with a long throw, testing his arm. Nuka taken high. Leland Marshall may find himself in some trouble here, Steve.
Again, Wanderers struggling with their discipline, and again, just a very lazy arm there, and you know, he might find himself in a bit more trouble than just a penalty here.
Yeah, he came in searching for him. Nuka, I think, maybe milking a little
card.
bit. Yeah, yellow card. So Drew Tonks saying yesterday he'd keep the cards in the pocket, but 15 minutes in, we've seen the first yellow card of the game. And there's been quite a bit of controversy over the past few weeks. The referees reaching for the card too soon.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to see games decided by cards, but at the same time, you know, players do have to toe the line, and if contact with the head is a yellow card, well, then it's a yellow card. And I have a little bit of sympathy for players that sometimes there needs to be a bit of discretion, but yeah, players also have to be masters of their own destiny as well.
Well, there's more a swinging arm anyway. I think.
Yeah, I'd no dramas with that decision.
So the ball kicked towards touch. 22 out again, not looking for the distance.
Yeah,
but just playing safe at the moment.
I'm surprised they didn't try a little 3-point kick there and just stretch it out a little bit more, but.
Ball comes off the top.
Line out.
Yeah, nicely won for Sheldon. Underrated, and they drive up. Lamont has it, the ball. He's almost 5 out. Now they pick and drive. Rockabaro.
Yeah. Big moment here for Wanderers. They're going to have to shut this out.
Yeah, they're going to have to dig deep here. There's a bit of space in the A and B channel. Oh, nice ball by McNeil. Bainavalu over for his second.
Yeah, good try. Just real good patience. And at the moment, realistically, the big difference is the discipline. You know, the very ill discipline. It's cost them dearly now, and they really are under pressure at this stage.
Yeah, certainly
Still 20 minutes to go in this half, and they've got a long way to come back.
Well, it's a big year for the Hawks. Plenty of pressure on them, the 50th year. As we go now to the replay, we see the lead-up play here. And it's just good composure shown, wasn't it? And they sucked them in. They worked the short side.
Yeah, just good discipline and just, you know, giving their wingers a bit of option to one-on-one and a little bit of space. And, yeah, they were rewarded it with 5 points.
Yeah, Marcus Christensen there. He was marking up on Sterling and a bit of a mismatch with pace.
Yeah.
And agility.
Yeah, well, that's where you need numbers and you need to cut down the space. But as I said, you know, Hawks have done all the hard work to create it and reap the rewards.
Of course, special mention to Marcus. It is his 100th first-grade game here today for the two Blues. He's played all over the world. And coming back home, celebrating his 100th first-grade game on grand final day.
Good club man, Marcus, and yeah, well done to him.
This one hit by Dan. It comes across the face and it's over. What a kick by Dan. He's clutching at his hamstring, is he? No, he's all right.
I think it was in case it missed.
So McCormick now with another restart. And the Wanderers 17-0.
Yeah, a bit of a dream start here for the Hawks, isn't it?
Yeah, 20 minutes down or thereabouts. Sione now winds up and looks to charge onto the ball. Backrich comes around the corner. Rockabaro looking for the ball, but it goes behind to McNeil again, getting busy. Providing them with plenty of options. Now Backrich throws the inside ball to Lamont.
Ooh.
Hearts were in mouths. And here comes Waller. Waller gets the turnover. So now the two Blues, they need to make something of this.
Yeah, slow ball, so just need to be patient, build up a bit of momentum.
Yeah, mentioned there, providing that direct running, and Sherwood, there was pressure. And now they pick up from the back. Domkins gets them up towards the 22. Here's Jackson. He'll be feeling the heat out there. The Englishman. Oh, picked up, driven, and this could be trouble. This will probably be a square up.
I think he's going to even it up here again.
There's Dylan Amate. We mentioned at the top of the broadcast, his defence is one of his keys, and Tonks is going to have a chat. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. He's probably going to find a bit of time in the bin. Lifting.
Again, you know, we've been a bit critical of the refs giving out too many yellows, but, yeah, when the rules are the rules, I'm all for a bit of discretion, but again, I think clear cut.
He's going to get away with that one. So, the Hamilton Hawks fans, you can see them there. They're not real happy about it.
Well, I think they're a little bit fortunate there. As I said, I would have put money on it being squared up. 5 metres out. Let's see what Wanderers can conjure up here.
And they go to the back. Nicely won by Ben Ham, who takes them forward. Goes to ground. Domkins now is wide. Simmons standing in behind. They go to mention. Almost finding a bit of a hole there. McCormick.
Bootlace stuff.
Stands in at first receiver. They go back inside to Christensen. Simmons now goes wide. Billy Coffey one-on-one. He's dangerous. But he's taken down nicely.
Oh.
This may be a turnover.
I think.
Yeah, nicely won by Fissa Vasagotti. Now McCormick comes back for it. He's touched the ball, so Lamont automatically onside. Now they look to play. Here's Marsh. Gets it to Rowney. Rowney, we know he's very quick. Has a bit of space, but he's taken down 10 out.
Really? Oh,
that's a terrible ball by Sherwood. And the Hawks, they're going to come up with a ball, are they?
Might have just managed to get it back, but they've lost a good 20 metres from about poor pass there.
So here's Jackson. Jackson now looking to bump off Lamont. Two very similar players.
Yeah.
Here's Domkins. He's isolated. Billy Coffey gets there to support. Not rolling away.
It'd be close there, and they're pressing this offside line too, as the Hawks, so they're up very quick.
Yeah, McKillop took them far. That's a beautiful hit there, Rockabaro. They popped the ball up. I thought it may have gone forward. Christensen runs sideways, but this defence by the Hawks.
Yeah, they're not making too many inroads here, are they?
That's a flat ball to Jackson. Jackson will set it up as they look to play off the back of some flat play. Oh, nice defence again. The blitz play. Rowney gets away, manages somehow to evade the tackle. The defensive line speed, Steve. It's second to none out there. As now Marsh looking for a bit of space outside. Bainavalu.
Not sure what happened there, but obviously, again, lack of discipline. And but you know what? You can't fault that defence. That was spectacular. And really just hard pressing defence and real big hits, big collisions. A few little injury concerns here, I think.
A couple. It's a very physical match out there.
As you said, I'm sure it's going to take their toll on them today too with this heat as well. So
I think it's McCormick, is it? A former Maitland player now finding home at Wanderers. And that ball, oh, that's a big touch find, and that has now put the Hawks back on the front foot, Steve.
Yeah, a little bit lucky to get away with that because that bounced in the field of play and poor covering of the line there from Wanderers. So, again, just lacking the finishing touches here at the moment. And Steve Lamont coming off. I've no doubt we'll see him as a front row replacement later on in the game.
Of course, our number one fan, Taras Daiku, out there with his salami out at Southern Beaches. Having a nice day of it. Shout out to you. Roddy Scott over in Edinburgh. And Pete Ryan in Mauritius. Bar TV, of course, bringing grassroots sports worldwide as now Hamilton take them up over the 40. Paddy Kilmurray. Rockabaro.
Good line speed there from Wanderers. Oh, beautiful play there from Paulie Dan, just committing that AB defence.
And Pete Maxwell run onto it, and Sheldon passes the ball, so Lamont has been replaced. The crowd of about 4,000 people here. The grandstand's packed as Kilmurray gets through. Has Bainavalo on the outside, and Simmons comes across in cover.
Oh, good ball,
wraps him up, and Bakarich drives for the line. They're close.
This really could be the game here now for Wanderers. And
well, here's Silla. Wanderers really need to dig deep. They're 5 out, the Hawks. Rockabaro trying to find his way over. And now here's Sione. Sione, he's going to go close.
Oh. There's a lot of space out here too. And
Paul Dan goes over. The dummy, the veteran, gets a try in the grand final.
Yeah, 17-0 with the kick to come, Gareth. It's wow, it's a big mountain to climb now, and yeah, they're going to have to certainly come out attacking. Now they're on the defensive. Now they have to come out and play footy. There's no time to be too tactical and try and wear them down. They're just going to have to take a few risks now and try and get on this scoreboard before half-time.
Well, Dylan Amate, he was outside, and Paul Dan, that's a pure halfback's try, isn't it?
In front of the post as well. That's the rules. You dot it down in front of the post, it's a try.
He won't stop smiling, and I'll tell you who won't stop smiling. I know Darren Coleman from the Country Eagles, and of course the Warringah Shoot Shield coach, watching out at Armidale. Out there for the NRC. Be looking on happily, and of course the other brother, Matt Coleman, only a couple pubs in Parks. Tuning in live, and that one goes over.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it, Bar TV? As you talked about, those guys overseas watching, and what a great thing.
24-0, so this is an absolute blitzkrieg, Steve.
Yeah, we're not far off a point a minute, Gareth, and I'm going to hazard a guess the Wanderers are a bit shell-shocked now, and they've certainly got it all to do. They can't afford to go into the shells. They're going to have to come out swinging, otherwise, yeah, we could see them on the receiving end of the losers' medal.
Well, the Hawks, certainly, they look a step quicker in everything they're doing at the moment. Now, Paul Dan feeding Sione again. Sione gets them over the 22 once more, picks it up and goes himself.
Yeah, they certainly aren't kicking out of their 22, and really effective down in their 22 and making good.
Oh, nice ball, Rockabora. Alanuka can't get the ball away, looking for Kilmurray. Bakarich goes through as the dummy runner. McNeil to Kilmurray. Kilmurray finds some more space, but can't get it to Vasagotti. Almost winning the ball. Here's Rockabaro again.
He really has worked hard, Rockabaro.
Yeah, this is certainly the best I've seen him play all year. So saving his best for the big dance.
Again,
advantage being played. Alanuka is going to go for the high one and
speculator. Yeah,
take the penalty.
Again, it was a last minute thing. Just a little red mist came over, and silly mistake, and really is starting to cost this side now, and going to find themselves defending probably deep in the 22. Talking about the big boys, Gareth, how they have stepped up, and Pete Maxwell, Peter Bacharach, and Rockabaro as well, just really putting in the hard yards. And we talked a bit at fresh subs for Hamilton. They might not need it, mate. So they might have the job done by then.
So Maxwell again. He's been on point so far. Floats that one over the top for Sheldon. Takes it nicely, and now they drive up the field through Big Joe Ackersdyke. Rockabara's on the short side. Has Vasagotti on his outside, but dummies, goes himself, the veteran, 39 years old. And no...
Putting us to shame, Gary.
No chance of even looking like retiring. So now they pick and drive. Dan gets it to Sila. Sila getting involved. And you can see Paul Dan out there really managing the game with the referees right in Drew Tonks's ear.
He is your typical halfback, isn't he? You got a mouth on him and a heart that big as Farlap, but yeah, he'll let you know.
So Sealer coming back on the short side, throws the dummy again. Passing not really in his arsenal. He's with Sheldon now. Chopped down. Oh, there's a bit of a scuffle in back play as Jackson and Rockabaro go at it. Smart play again by Dan, directing the traffic back to it.
Something's going on there. And,
yeah, there's tempers are flaring. Bit of an elbow.
Touch judge has got a flag out.
As we see the crowd there right in front of that. I wouldn't say impartial Wanderers crowd. It's certainly the opposite of that.
Interesting to see if we can pick up something here on the replay.
Yeah, certainly Rockabaro and Jackson threw a couple of...
Yeah, they were certainly shaping up, weren't they?
Open hand slaps, maybe. Yeah, just certainly didn't quite pick it up from that angle.
Yeah, it looks like leading forehand down on top of the player there.
So we'll
find out soon who the guilty one is.
Yeah, it's definitely Seba Rockabaro.
We're just singing his praises, Gareth.
Well, he's had a big game. He's had a big impact, but this could be the biggest impact if he gets a bit of time off here.
It's a card. Ooh,
it's a red card. Wow. Can you believe that, Steve? Wow. What about that? That is a big call.
Yeah, that is
Drew
a very
Tonks.
big call. I'd like to have a closer look at it to see exactly what's warranted the red, but if ever Wanderers have got to get a boost, wow, that's a massive loss there for the Hawks.
Yeah.
He was having a cracking game.
As we see him walking now into the sheds. And having been the recipient of a red card on a grand final day, I can tell you it's not the best feeling in the world. So
just one?
My thoughts go out to Seva. Anyway, there'll be a man down as Lamont now comes to the sideline.
Yeah, they've got 7 minutes left in this half and 40 minutes now with 14 men. So this is as good a chance now for them to strike back. And there's a few.
So Sione's come from the field.
Yeah.
And Lamont's gone on to replace him. Just some fresh legs out there.
It's interesting. Unless he's gone off for a concussion test or blood.
Yeah, not sure. And now the Wanderers through Ben Ham. They've got a spring in their step. Email, good run. Up over the 50. If they can score a try before half-time as Coffey comes for a run in field. Now Christensen.
If they can get it out wide. Yep.
Nice tackle by Bakarich, driving him sideways. Good defence there, Lamont on mention. Here's Big Marshall. He's
a big unit.
Well, he himself got 10 in the bin before. There's now Ham. Oh, they try to work a play in behind him. Knock back. Says Tonks. Simmons takes it to the line. Coffey comes in.
Coffey as well.
He's threatening at the moment, isn't he? Billy Coffey now. McCormick has the ball, has a look. Goes without it, goes without it again. Kick forward. Halanuka. He's quick. We know he's quick. Can it pop up? Yes, it can. What a try against the play again. And they go over, Steve.
Well, if you have a look at the replay, Wanderers seemed to stop, and I think they were waiting for a call that never came, and it just seemed interesting that they all just sort of, stopped. I think we might have a an injury here for the Hawks as well, so might be a few more personnel changes.
Yeah, they're going down everywhere. As we see the replay here, McCormick juggled it.
He was in front of him, and he's kind of just let him run past him, and yeah, just lacking a little bit of urgency there, I think.
Well, certainly the Vaseline goes on the legs, not the hands, Steve. And that will be one that he'll be happy to forget about. So the score now 29-0.
Lamont's now coming off, so I don't know.
Yeah, Siani's gone back on.
So it's certainly a...
Unless he came on as a front row replacement before. I don't quite understand, but anyway.
Yeah, I think, well, unless it was blood or a concussion.
So Paul Dan with another attempt.
It's certainly the easiest of his kicks so far, isn't it? You'd expect to be Hawks be 31-0 up at this stage, which is a massive score for a grand final.
And that one through, over, almost landing in the jumping castle out the back there.
Yeah. A few kids not too concerned with the rugby, more concerned with bouncing around. But it's good to see those little extras here for the kiddies. Better than being on their iPads.
I'm surprised Greg Wilson isn't over there, given his week.
He'd be down there too, his VIP tent somewhere.
Of course, Wilson & Co., one of the major partners for the Bar TV sports coverage this year. As McCormick gets it downfield, Vasagotti lets it bounce, and Coffey's right onto him, and Coffey drives him into touch. 4 minutes remaining in the half, 31-0. The Wanderers need a mammoth effort if they are to be any chance to come close to this Hamilton side, who are red hot at the moment.
Oh, you really do feel they have to have a score here before half-time. That for me would be vital, but you know, at the moment I feel they're just not polished enough to finish off their moves, and whereas Hamilton are being very ruthless and putting the foot to the throat.
And now Simmons, they go wide, Rowney stepping up the middle and almost taking a high shot. Yeah, Tonks is playing the advantage as Ham offloads. And they look disjointed in attack here, the two Blues.
Yeah, just running out of ideas. And
Sherwood takes a quick tap. He's up the middle and he can't burrow his way over.
That was a great tap.
They need quick ball. They need to go left. Oh, coming through, Bakarich. He was onside. Domkins now.
Yeah, a little bit careful here. They find themselves 13 men at the moment.
And McKillop trying to get through. Here's Simmons now.
There's
There's space out wide. Oh, Jackson goes without it. Backwards, says the referee. Coffey goes for the corner. The flag goes up.
Into touch. Wow. Good defence there from Hamilton Hawks. Again, the execution there for me just wasn't in the passing. The passing wasn't crisp enough to give Billy Coffey enough time to get in the corner. Just a bit delayed and allowed the drift defence to come across and bundle them into touch. So, again, just the final points, I think Wanderers really struggling.
As we saw the replay there, yeah, nice call. Touchy on the spot. So now this is going to be a tough task in itself to get themselves out of their own 22 here, the Hawks.
They're certainly going to be minus one of the... Oh, turnover. Yeah, has to... They have to have something here, I think.
Sherwood's fighting for the ball, looking to play quick. Here goes Marshall. Marshall
That's a good strong
drives towards the line.
Oh, very close.
He's inches short. Domkins is over!
Good response there from Wanderers.
So they get their first try with 2 minutes to go in the half. It's been all Hamilton Hawks.
Yeah, I don't want to see the scoreline blow out too much. I'd prefer a good hard-fought contest. So if Wanderers can come back with a couple of tries, I think it'll make for a better spectacle.
So you see here Sherwood, nice quick ball. It's what they needed, the two Blues. They've been disjointed somewhat in attack in their own in the attacking half, mind you. Haven't really looked like they've been looking to pressure, have they, Steve?
No, and Sherwood can take a little bit of a bow there. He's really sped that last couple of phases of play. Quick tap penalty, quick ball. And, yeah, he can certainly take a fair bit of credit for the 5-pointer, or the 7-pointer potentially here.
So the conversion is successful, as we see the two Blues bench there. So 31-7 is the scoreline.
Tough one for the Blues bench, you know, coming off a last-minute loss to the Greens in the Grade 2 Grand Final. So interesting to see what they can add in the second half.
Yeah, certainly. Kick on the bell for the Greens to win reserve grade. This one goes deep. Ben Ham reaches for it. We know hasn't got the best division, Ben Ham. Now Simmons calls where it gets it around his knees. Oh, McCormick talking about vision. He's missed it a couple of times, and now Coffey goes up the middle. That's pure strength from the winger. Nice run. Now they pick and drive. Mention gets them on the front foot. Billy Coffey bridges over. I thought he was going to have another run. Oh, that's a terrible ball. McCormick, his hands.
Just
I don't know what's going on. I mean, it is humid out there, so maybe he's a sweater. And here comes McKillop. This is better. The forwards running a bit wider now from the two Blues.
Yeah, they've certainly shifted up a gear, haven't they?
Now Jackson runs sideways. He's taken. Nice ball and all tackle by Halanuka Nuka.
Well, they've got the numbers here.
Yes, Simmons goes. Has Rowney on the inside. Rowney, we know he's quick. He changes direction at pace. McNeil, last-ditch attempt, cuts him down. And Ackersdyke comes away with it. Dylan Amate has a bit of space.
Oh, might have a turnover here. No.
Halanuka Nuka's down in back play.
I think he had a go at it and then went off his feet and didn't quite let it go. But again, just poor execution and again a warning to Wanderers. You can't let it the Hawks here because they're really good on turnover ball.
The Paul Dan will look to find touch again as we look at the replay here. Yeah, just not coming in the right angle there, Marshall. Yeah. That's just poor discipline, Steve.
That might be the halftime whistle. No, going to play on.
Yeah, we did have that long stoppage before with Rockabaro. James Wibble tweeting in. The red car was deserved. That's a red car every day of the week.
Yeah. This
one goes flat to Kilmurray. Kilmurray winds up, finds some space, and ends up in a big tackle there. Tommy Email throwing himself again at this Hamilton attack. Now Sione drives forward.
Sione's been working really hard this half as well. Certainly made a lot of inroads every time he's got the ball.
Well, here's Ackersdyke. Inside ball to Dan. Dan steps around, jinks around, and gets them into the opposition 40. Bakarich picks and drives. Now it comes back and no time left, and Halanuka Nuka is going to go for touch, and that will be half time here with the score 31-7. We're going to take a quick break for all our viewers out there. Have a quick chat to Greg Wilson and of course Jimmy Gardner for the halftime wrap. Well, welcome back, everybody, to Bar TV's coverage of the 2017 NHRU Grand Final. With us up here in the commentary box for the halftime wrap, Greg Wilson. Greg, couldn't join us in commentary today. It's been your birthday all week, apparently. But what about this game? Did you expect anything like this?
Nothing like it, mate. Pretty ordinary performance from Wanderers. Very disappointing.
Yeah, certainly was. And, of course, we thank you for your support throughout the year. Wilson and co, the premier lawyers in town, helping us out here at Bar TV Sports. Now, 31-7 back in your day. How do you come back from this, mate?
You hope you got a big breeze up your arse. You play to the Tui's VIP corner.
Well, of course, you're having a good time in the VIP corner. I'll tell you who else is having a good time here today. Reporting for the Newcastle Herald, Jimmy Gardner. What do you make of that?
Well, coaching masterclass from Scott Coleman. Everything he's done. The early call of starting with Steve Lamont for him he's one of those big game players. He set the tone early, and then their defence, the way they've got up, they haven't just rushed up. They've come up in an umbrella type formation on the outside, the winger, the outside centre, and the fullback, and they've really nullified any danger that Wanderers have presented to them on those edges where they can hurt you with their pace. And it's still a perfect half of football by them. Other than the red card, I don't think there was a mistake in terms of their ball handling. It was just masterclass all the way from Hamilton, and Wanderers are really going to have to produce something massive. I know they're a player advantage, but they're going to have to get some ball in hand and start shifting it around, and they need to strike first. That's the greatest understatement of all time.
Yeah, certainly. You said it's a coaching masterclass. Wanderers, of course, play that very flat structure, and this rush defence by Hamilton is certainly making them look very disjointed at the moment, guys. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, Gareth, I think Wanderers are still trying to spread the ball, but throwing it to Tim Marsh and expecting him to run through three guys just isn't going to work. They've got to get him on the outside, and the forwards have got to do some hard work and hit it up the middle.
If you look at the two tries, you mentioned that rushed up defence. Two tries have come from an intercept from when the Wanderers tried to go out the back, and Delamarte rushed up and got it. And the second one was from, again, they were trying to force something, spilt ball. Sonny kicks it through, races 40 metres to score. So they're going to have to adjust slightly. I think they've got to be a bit more pick and drive first before they start going wide. They tend to shift it to what we've seen already. Luke Shirley's made a couple of breaks from dummying and going himself. Some of the forwards need to take a leaf out of his book and do the hard yards early.
Well, we mentioned before, Rockabaro, he's got the red card out there, but certainly very damaging in that first half when he was on the field. He was hard to contain, got that big arm free, and really got him on the front foot as well as Sione.
Yeah, he was outstanding. I mean, it was a red card. I guess for mine, I thought it a yellow card when I first saw it. It didn't look to be. He dropped his elbow on his head. I mean, let's be fair, Nick. That's by the rule law book. That's a red card, but it is a grand final. The guy got up, wasn't hurt. Just when you think this game's going one way, there's another twist. But I'm not sure there's going to be a big enough twist in the second half.
Yeah, certainly twists all through the game. And we mentioned as well Darren Coleman, of course, the NRC coach, and, of course, the Warringah coach winning the shoot. So what a story it is if Bubba wins here in Newcastle.
It'll be a great way for Scotty to finish up and some of those other players at Hamilton. I think, though, if Wanderers can play the game in Hamilton's half, they've got a chance to get back into it. Rockaboro's a big loss.
Yeah, certainly, and I guess as well, the tiring, it's hot out there. They're going to be a man down. They're going to have to work harder in this second half, the Hamilton Hawks. Yeah,
it would certainly change his rotation. He would have been thinking that he'd use Steve Lamont as one of his front row rotations for Bay Silla. Now he's probably going to have to go to Geraint Weaver. It looks like Lamont's going to play a much larger part of the game than he intended in the back row.
Yeah, definitely. And Lamont, as you mentioned, it was a shock that he was actually out there at the start. Bubba Coleman kept that very close to his chest. I spoke to him about 3 times this morning saying, is Lamont starting? Is Lamont starting? And every time I spoke to him, it was a straight-faced no.
I mean, when you look in hindsight, you think he has to start. As I said, he's led the club to 4 premierships. He's been man of the match last year and was the best player in the park by a million miles. He's nearly been the best player in the park today in 2 spurts in the first half. Steve Sione's the other one that's been very strong for them. And I think Ratu Delamante, the outside centre, I said he was going to be one of the key matchups. And so far he's done a fantastic job, not only with the ball, but shutting down Dylan Rowney.
Yeah, certainly. Dylan Rowney, he hasn't been given any space at all. When he has, he looks very quick, doesn't he? The one time, they've not bombed a couple of chances here, the Wanderers, but they've gone close, just haven't been able to get that last pass. Billy Coffey goes out on the touchline, almost scoring the try. And indeed up the middle as well.
Yeah, just desperation really from the Hawks. You'd back Billy and and Dylan ran to score him 9 out of 10 times on both occasions. But the first one, it was Joe Ackersdyke and coming across to knock Billy Coffey in a touch, and the second one was Sam McNeil, a bootlace tackle on Rillan Downey when he was about to put that big left foot step of his out, and had he got past him, he was away. So big moments again. Hamilton seemed to win the big moments in these big games.
As we see the Ram out there, of course, the major sponsor of the NHRU for 2017. For you, Greg, who's the player from both sides that can turn this match or consolidate this match for the Hawks?
Gareth, I think probably Tim mentioned or Luke mentioned, I'm sorry, is probably the guy that Wanderers have got to go to and try and set it up through that middle channel. I really think, though, as Jimmy said earlier, they've got to consolidate down the middle, back up Luke Sherwood, and then try and get a bit of room on the outside to let Bill and Tim Marsh have a go.
And for you, Jimmy, who's the player out there that can change this match for the Wanderers and get them back into this game?
Well, they need someone. They need someone to produce something special. You produce something special once, all of a sudden you chip away at the lead, and then you get another try, and all of a sudden momentum is switched. We've seen the last 6 weeks, these games are all about momentum. So far, the momentum's all with Hamilton. So you need Wanderers, whether it be a big hit or whether it be a Luke Sherwood making a dart from the base of a ruck. He's the one for mine that I think, he bleeds blue. He's been at this club and played first grade since 2001. He's only 30. Sorry, not 2001. 2005 he used to go first grand final was. I think he's the one for mine, and then one of the quick guys. You need one of them to have an impact, because then Hamilton start thinking, geez, they're quick, they're getting on our outside. Has to be one of those two.
Well, you mentioned big hits as well. I think for the two Blues, Ben Ham is that player that can certainly lift a team with his defence. He can get up in their faces. A couple of big carries from him. That'll get the two Blues maybe on the front foot and back into the match, Greg.
Yeah, Marcus Christensen as well, probably coming through the middle. I think too, Wanderers have got to get those tight five forwards getting in and doing the hard work rather than standing out in the backs.
Yeah, certainly. As we see the ball boys out there getting ready, there's a little Rams competition out there on Bar TV Sports, where, of course, we are live here for the 2017 Rams Grand Final.
Kicking towards the Tui's VIP corner end.
It looks like a good show over there. Greg, you'll be going back over there after the halftime chat to enjoy yourself. Not indulge yourself, but enjoy yourself.
Certainly
Indeed, let's talk about the season for a little bit. It certainly has been one of the best seasons in recent years.
Yeah, it has been. I mean, I think with 4 weeks to go, there were still 8 teams that could make the semi-finals. Wanderers and Hamilton have always been at the top. I think they led by 20 points at one point. Hamilton had a lead on the rest of the competition. Like all teams do, they had a flat patch at the end of the year. So did Wanderers. Wanderers lost the last 3 games. But still, I think the teams that made the ground were the teams like University, like Nelson Bay, like Lake Macquarie. They were able to do it in spurts, though. They could come off and produce I think Hamilton lost 2 games. And they produced sort of moments, won't say moments, but they were able to do it for 1 or 2 games, whereas Hamilton and Wanderers, the difference is their depth. They lose a player, someone just as good comes in, and their consistency of performance. They do it for longer periods than the others.
Yeah, all about depth. I think Maitland and Uni and Lake Macquarie, if they had a bit more depth, then we've got a more even comp. And, as we said yesterday at the Hawthorn lunch, towards the end of the year, anyone could win on any given day.
I mean, even Nelson Bay coming 6th, they had a very classy team, and unlucky they dropped a couple of games, which they probably shouldn't have at the start of the year. So unlucky not to make the 5. So it certainly bodes well for a big 2018. But getting back to this match, referee Drew Tonks, we heard him yesterday say he wasn't going to pull the cards out. We've seen a couple so far. How do you think he's going?
Oh, he's been good, very good. I mean, you can't argue with the yellow card. I thought perhaps the red card may have been a bit harsh given the occasion. It didn't look particularly malice, but it was an elbow to the head. The other one was a high tackle, and under the IRB laws, the head's taboo nowadays. Anyone from the chest just about up. So, those cards you certainly couldn't argue with. There hasn't been too many. He hasn't blown the whistle out of the whistle. I think the penalty count is 9-7 by my calculations to Hamilton. Most of those have been at the breakdown, which is normal fare. He's let the game flow. He's communicated well. Yeah, he's not going to decide this game, put it that way.
Yeah, he certainly is, and he's on the radar as well with the ARU coming through the pathways. He's one of the most highly rated young referees coming through, and certainly the youngest referee to ever adjudicate an NHRU grand final now.
Oh,
As we
fair way.
see the two Blues come out. Thanks for joining us at half-time, Greg.
Yeah, thanks,
Go
Greg.
and enjoy yourself
Thanks,
at the
Jimmy.
corporate tent.
I certainly will.
And thanks very much for all your support during the year. We're going to go back now live with Steve Barretto up in the commentary box as we see the two Blues come out onto the field after some very good half-time entertainment by the Ram out there. You were down there, Steve. What's going through the coaches' minds, do you think?
I mean, obviously there's two very different coaches' feelings at the moment. Obviously, Bubba Coleman's down there, and he'd be pretty happy with how things have gone on, and obviously just more of the same. 14 men, so might be some tactical readjustments there. Wanderers really just needed to get a rocket and really need to come out, and they have to score a couple of quick tries, I feel, to really start pressuring.
Well, they've got the one-man advantage, Steve.
Yeah. It's a pretty big one man as well.
Yeah, he was certainly, before he got sent off, probably out there as the best on field.
Yeah, it's funny, we were just chatting to Jim Garner about it, and yeah, you know, he was in line to possibly get the man of the match, but
I'd still give it to him.
Yeah.
So it'll be the Wanderers to restart here. Running towards the junction end. Cal McDonald has come onto the field. So replacing McCormick, who didn't have the best of halves. So the restart now, second half, it's game on. Here comes Sione. Winds himself up.
He's really safe with that, isn't he? That exit play.
Oh, for Sheldon with a nice little angled run, finding some space. Yeah, he's been the go-to man, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Sione. Space down the wing. Swinging arm. Kilmurray. Yeah, we might get a look at that, because certainly if the touch judge comes in, might find himself in some trouble. Dylan Rowney having a bit of a chat. We'll have a look at it right here.
Yeah, I got to admit I missed it on the open play, but...
Yeah, it was Ben Ham, definitely. That was a closed fist swinging arm, so lucky to stay on the field there, Ben Ham. As the ball goes out, the penalty is awarded, and they're just outside the 22.
Yeah, I think, you know, Gareth, they really need to start with the discipline. I think the discipline was really poor. Got Hawkeys up with a good lead early on and really put pressure on Wanderers, and they didn't respond, so discipline really needs to be better.
Little play there. Maxwell forced to clean up. The short play, not something that we normally see from Hamilton. As Backridge takes one, and he's taken the ground. Now they pick and drive. The Hawks still look very firmly in control of this match. Now for Sheldon goes from the back. One thing they do know how to do here, the Hawks, is to defend a lead. So don't expect them to throw the ball around too much this second half.
It's the one thing, you know, as I said, when you've got really good structured play and you're really well drilled, losing one man, you know, can certainly galvanise a side. And if there was ever going to be a side that it wouldn't affect too badly, it's definitely the Hawks.
Oh, McNeil comes in around the corner and thought he might have found a bit of space back towards the forwards there. Now they pick and drive again. And go again. Sealer. You can see Paul Danny's getting his forwards in there. Directing them well. Halanuka. He's standing wide. It's advantage being played. And advantage played to the Hawks. So great phase play, great discipline.
Yeah. And you've got to be careful here. It's the red zone, and too many penalties, they might find themselves with a yellow. Again, really the Hawks have come out exactly where they've left off. Really disciplined, really polished in the delivery, and it started from the exit strategy, their exit play of the kickoff.
So having a chat here. We'll see what the outcome is.
Yeah,
Simmons
might be getting the cheese out.
Yeah, I think definitely if he's called him out, he might find himself in some trouble.
Got away with it that time. I don't think he'd be as lucky next time.
Yeah, final warnings, you'd think, here on their own line. The two Blues is looking very ominous here at number 2 Sports Ground as they go for the scrum.
Yeah.
What a big call. They're a man down.
Yeah.
So they fancy their chances.
And it's interesting. It shows the quality, really, that Hamilton have played with. We've only had one scrum this game, so this is only the second scrum. We're already so 5 minutes into the second half. So
McNeil lines out to the left.
yeah, they're going with they filled the scrum up, so there might actually be. There
looks
might
like
be a scrum move here.
I think Kilmurray's gone on the side here. Plays like a breakaway sometimes, and the scrum goes down. Sione picks up off the back. And now McNeil comes around and they go to Halanuka. Inside ball. Delana Mate! Untouched! Under the posts. And that is a try.
Yeah, again, just a really good move, well executed, and you really felt that, Wanderers should have had that covered with the extra man, but again, when there's a hole, and there's no better team at the moment to find it than the Hawks. Very early to call it, Gareth, but certainly I would
You're
imagine.
going to say game over? I want to hear you say it.
Oh, you'd have to say it's insurmountable, I would have said, but I've no doubt there's going to be an extra 2 points here as well. So
I can't remember a grand final blowing out as much as this one.
Yeah, no, I certainly can't. You look at it, and coming into it, we sort of judged it to be
the Hawk lady. She fights crime.
Yeah, one of the closer grand finals, but it's certainly not proven that way at the moment, is it?
So Dan, again, 38-7, 46 minutes gone in the match. And you can see the Wanderers, they're taking their time, they're struggling to get back. They need to lift. Plenty of armchair experts in the crowd discussing how they can get back, and to get back they're going to have to stop that man right there, Sione. Damaging all game. McNeil steps and loses his footing. Now, around the corner is Maxwell. Gee, he's been good today as well, hasn't he, Maxwell?
Yeah, for an old fella.
Knackersdyke. Emmanuel again throwing his body for a well-beaten side. The two Blues, Emmanuel certainly can hold his head high, and they kick wide to Vasagotti. It bounces up for Vasagotti. He'll kick ahead for himself, and it'll go out on the full.
It's a rare mistake from the Hawks, but they did well to spot that gap, and yeah, it might have been an interesting story if he had actually kept that kick in the field to play. Foot race, I would imagine.
Knackersdyke, nicely done. Here's Sione. Again, running wide. Box kick by Dan for Vasagotti's wing, and Vasagotti charges onto the board. It's a bad bounce there for Simmons, and Coffey somehow comes up with it. So now, here comes Coffey trying to run over Dan. Great tackle by Paul Dan, chopping him in half.
Steve Sione down in play here. He's had a monster of a game so far and worked really hard. He's been their go-to man with the ball, so they'll want to see him back up on his feet, I would have thought. And the evergreen Lamont looking to get another
Yeah, he's got a big
Another
grin
run
on his face on the sideline here, Lamont. Having a chat down there to the referees. Or the fourth official, Jared Logan, of course. Jared succumbing to a knee injury this year.
Yeah, they've missed him this year. He's a good ref, and it's good to see him doing what he can. I think he's still got a bit of restricted movement in that knee, so he's pulled a bit short from partaking on the field, but doing what he can to help out.
See the ball boys there, earning their pies and cokes.
Yeah, they love it, don't they? Look at them.
Well, the Hawks crowd certainly loves it.
They're certainly taking the time here for Steve, and I wouldn't imagine he'd be the kind of bloke to go down too easily, so he's obviously done himself some damage, and doesn't look like he can put... No, seems all right.
Yeah, he's going to keep going. So we'll see time on and ready to play. So it'll be a scrum. It'll be the Hawks feed. And the Hawks attacking. 38-7. And for me, I just can't see the Wanderers coming back and scoring here.
No, you can't see where they're going to do it, and scrum a little bit scrappy, but yeah, they need to find a little bit of inspiration. I don't want to give up on them just yet, but it certainly would be one of the better comebacks if it happened.
And there's Steve Lamont there warming up, so...
He's nearly got the Bubba splits going, doesn't he? He's obviously not just a rugby coach. He might be. They might do yoga together.
Yeah, it's not quite the downward dog, but it's thereabouts, Steve. As we get set for the scrum, close to halfway, with the width of the field to work with, looks like Vasagotti may inject himself into this back line.
Again, I think they've left one man short on the scrum, and no, sorry, they've given it a 7-man scrum by the looks of it. We'll have another crack.
Ball getting fed, and again the Hamilton scrum, dominant. Here's Kilmurray turning on the inside, Delanamarte, and McDonald tries to rip the ball off him and spits out the back for Dan, now McNeil. Broken play. Coming through on the ball there, and that is a dead set penalty.
Yeah, I'd have to say that.
He dived from 40 metres back, Steve.
Yeah, it's desperate stuff, and yeah, the ref has given them the benefit of the doubt, I think, for that, and just given them, awarded the knock on. But yeah, I'm with you, Gary.
And the crowd absolutely into this match. You can see there.
Yeah, they've loaded up the backs here, left a 7-man scrum here for Hamilton, so I've no doubt they'll want to get this ball to the back and obviously have something lined up here.
And there's the Hawks fans grinning from ear to ear.
Yeah, I think even they're a little bit shocked.
4 Cheshire Cats. I can see 4 Cheshire Cats up there. Smiling away. And that's a penalty.
I think from what I can gather, probably just not holding the weight, and might be attributed to having slightly less in the scrum. But
so Simmons will go for touch here. There's been a bit of a pause in play as Lamont getting his calves worked on. Jackson, nice line out that time. Ham goes up. So the two Blues, they need to hit back here, Steve.
Yeah, they certainly need something, and let's see how they execute some move here. And
well, they're looking for that play where Marsh comes around and finds a bit of space, and he does just that. But it closes up just as quickly as it opened.
Yeah, they're being very selective here how many they're committing to this rucks. They're spreading out pretty quick here, the Hawks, and obviously realising a man down.
Flick pass inside, and Bakarich. Johnny on the spot.
Like a hungry hippo.
Gobbled it up. Little kick in behind by Dylan Amante. Wasn't really needed.
Not sure where
so they
that's
turned the ball over.
Yep, Wanderers look like they have the ball and really need to kind of get some structure here, and quick ball, I think.
Marshall, they bind on him. They'll have to drive forward and get the ball to the back. Use the ball. Yeah, Sherwood went short side. There was nobody there. They look like they're the team with the man down here at the moment, the two Blues.
Yeah, they're certainly a bit disheveled. And again, not committing too many numbers here to the breakdown, Hamilton. Just happy to spread out and defend.
Here's Marshall again. Jackson goes without it, so they lose another opportunity here, the two Blues.
Yeah, the refs called it knock back, and I think they've got the ball back, but
he's mentioned running straight and direct again. Jackson. Again, the ball pops out. Greasy, humid conditions here today. Here's Nuka. Has Dylan Amarte on the outside, but it's going to be called back.
I think come back for that knock on. I think there might have been a forward pass there, but again, just very, very poor clinical finishing here from Wanderers. 2 knock-ons in the space of a couple of minutes, and yeah, you can't come into grand finals coughing that much ball up, unfortunately, and it is reflective in the score.
South coming on the field. South as we see Tompkins leaving the field there on screen.
And the game has sort of petered out a little bit, hasn't it? Sort of flattened out, and doesn't seem to be a huge amount of urgency from either side at the moment.
It's almost as if they're waiting for the clock to tick and silly Sunday to start. As they go short side, Vasagotti goes without it, so another mistake out here. There's been about 14 errors in a row here, Steve.
Yeah, maybe the heat's getting to people and getting a little bit tired. A little bit thirsty. I know I'm sweating. All I'm doing is sitting here talking. Again, Wanderers really need to switch on now to this option. They've got the scrum here deep in the just on the 22, and I'd like to see a bit of width given to this ball. You've got Cal McDonald and Dylan Rowney here in the backs. See if they can conjure up some magic and try and inject a little bit of life into this grand final.
So here we go. The Wanderers. They need a try.
Good scrum there from Hamilton.
Yeah, another great scrum by the Hawks.
Yeah,
penalty one. Penalty earned. Joe Ackersdyke, you can see him out there happy, and the Wanderers crowd terribly unhappy.
Yeah, it's not a great day if you're a two Blues supporter, unfortunately.
Of course, getting up in third grade, losing on the bell to Merriweather in second grade, the two Blues, and while you can't award them the game just yet, it's increasingly unlikely that they're not going to get close here today.
Yeah. And you sort of look at it and you wonder, have the Hawks benefited from a week off? Have Wanderers maybe been stretched too much with the preliminary finals?
Well, they've had
run
a
up and
couple of very hard games, haven't they? Especially the Southern Beaches fixtures. Here's Backridge now dancing with his opposition. Ball spits out the side. Knock on advantage now to the Hawks, and Drew Tonks whistle to mouth, and that will be another scrum here, Steve.
Yeah, we've from one extreme to the next. We went a fair while in the first half with only one scrum. Now we're seems like we're going from scrum to scrum.
And that's what it's all about there, Steve. The big trophy. Hamilton, can they make it 3 in a row? It looks very possible.
It certainly looks like it. I saw a little Facebook post earlier from Tim Partridge saying the last team to do it was Singleton. So it's been a while, and it certainly has taken a good side to do it again. And you know, to be fair, Hamilton have certainly been the dominant side in this competition for the last 3 years, and there's no doubt.
Of course, Bubba Coleman retiring or having a sabbatical from rugby next year. Good scrum again,
doubt that.
Hamilton now, they go short side. Dylan Amate dances, and he's pulled down by Ham. Oh, that's a good tackle there. McKillop getting under him. Is that the rev up they need? The two Blues, the game very flat at the moment. Oh, intercept.
Oh.
Ham with a little kick in behind. And Billy Coffey chases.
Good tackle
nicely
there.
tackled by Ben Ham. Good chase off his own grubbing kick.
Again, important here for Wanderers not to give away a penalty.
Then safety option, and now they can counter here.
Yeah.
Marsh.
They're
What can he do?
Rowney
He has
on the
Rowney on the
outside.
outside. They go to Rowney, and it goes in front of him. That was their best opportunity of the half, and they blow it, Steve.
Well, that for me is the game in a snapshot. It's they've had that opportunity. They had a man over. They had the fastest man in the NHRU.
Or two of the fastest men,
And the
Marsh
ball,
and Rowney.
and just a poor pass, and just the opportunity went begging, and it kind of speaks how Wanderers' day has gone so far.
Yeah, not the day they would have dreamt of coming into it. As we saw the mistake right there on the Bar TV Sports replay.
Good to see all the families there out and enjoying the fine weather as well.
Yeah, a crowd of about 4,000 here today.
Certainly a few people in that VIP tent probably having a very good day as well. Looks like we got about 18 minutes to go, Gareth, or 20 minutes. So it certainly petered out a little bit. We have been camped down here now for a while. And
no side really grabbing the game, making the most of the opportunities. Hamilton really only defending this half, but they're defending a very big lead. For our viewers out there that have just joined in,
these would be energy sapping scrums here, Gareth. As I said, 30+ degrees, been scrumming all day, and second half in particular, they'll be feeling the burn.
Corey Bell, little tweet in. He's pulled me up on a comment I made before about the score getting away in recent memory. Of course, I did forget the Merriweather one against Hamilton, 42-0.
Yes.
2012.
There's always one rugby pundit out there, isn't there?
Don't know if I forgot that on purpose as they exit now, the Hamilton Hawks.
Selective memory.
Marsh was looking for the quick one, and Bainavalu again with a good chase. He's been very good, hasn't he, Bainavalu? 2 tries really set the platform at the start of the match, as we see Logan, the 4th official there.
Yeah, Dave Weiler coming off first season, and Walsh coming on. Blake Walsh.
Yeah, Blake Walsh coming on. Going through on the ball. Simmons
pass.
again. They play flat. Oh, what a hit. Dylan Amate. He picked it.
Whoa.
It's their go-to move off the line out. And it was telegraphed. They've obviously been training for that all week.
Yeah, he saw that coming, didn't he?
So Halanuka with a long spiralling pass to Kilmurray. Kilmurray straightens up, gets them over halfway. McNeil dummies, goes forward. Bakarich, driven backwards. Christensen. Now they pick and drive, just trying to settle it down. The Hawks. Rowney comes in, maybe from the side as Silla now bumps off Email. Sheldon with a nice little move. Oh, the dummy by the big man. And the crowd's lit up. And Paul Dan may have
Missed what
copped
happened
a
there.
bit of wind there. Well, not copped a bit of wind, but got himself winded.
Just missed it. I'm not sure what has happened to the little fella, but hopefully he's okay. Certainly seems to be a little bit of concern for him, and
he's not really getting up, is he? As we look here, he comes around. Oh, Ben Ham certainly hit him off the ball, and I don't know if the touch judge picked that up. Oh, yeah, of course he did. He's been sent to the bin.
looks like it might have been a yellow, but I'd be surprised if they haven't sent him for a...
Gives our cameraman a bit of a spray there on the touchline. Indeed, not happy with his indiscretion.
He'll be a bit frustrated, I think. Hopefully he wasn't ahead. It might have just been a bit of wind knocked out of him by the looks of it, Gareth.
Yeah, I think he just got blindsided there. So, a yellow card, not what the two Blues ordered. And now Hamilton with a chance to work their way upfield. They haven't been up here but for probably 2 minutes at the start where they scored that try.
Nope.
That one off the side of the boot, not finding touch again. Oh, almost putting the foot on the touchline. Now looking for Coffee, but they find Mention.
Of course, they're all squared up now for numbers, so it's 14 men, 3-14.
Southfoy. The replacement there, making
Cal
good ground.
McDonald.
Now Cal McDonald looking to get his team on the front foot. Mention steps back inside and goes up the middle. Nice run, nice direct run by Mention. Halanuka just taking him. And now Christensen.
He's done the quarterback dive.
He's been sniped. And Billy Coffey's father there, Kevin, making it known as McKillop now goes forward. Email as Rowney pushes for Sheldon over in back play. Oh, Billy Coffey up the middle. Billy Coffey scores. Nice run by the winger. And there's a bit of, pushing and shoving. Paul Dan runs in, and I don't know what weight he was throwing at it. Certainly a flyweight, featherweight.
Let's have a look here, and there's a bit of shoving off the ball here and in back play. And
yeah, Dylan Rowney wasn't happy with Sheldon.
And I think there's a little bit more here on the...
it's not too bad.
Yeah, it's out of screenshot there, unfortunately, but... it's certainly been a few on the edge of your seat kind of stuff, isn't it? It's just hit the post, but threatened to boil over at times here, isn't it?
Nice little tweet from Jason Moffat watching the grand final on Bar TV. Fishing.
Wow.
Hope you're enjoying it. Hope you're catching plenty. West off Bar Beach.
What a great idea.
So now,
A few changes coming in for the Hawks. It looks like front row.
yeah, Sealer coming
replacements.
from the field.
And
Maxwell.
looks like Maxwell.
Bit of an injury. Lamont will get some more time. So 13 minutes. This one goes deep.
Oh dear. Jeez. Did well to hang on to that.
So now McDonald gets them
Oh,
up over halfway, stepping away from a couple. Kilmurray comes over the top and the ball is knocked out. So that's going to be called a knock on. Just
he's certainly proved a little bit of a handful, Cal McDonald, since he's come on. And obviously didn't suffer too many effects from having a few weeks off, but
played a full second grade game.
yeah. It certainly looks like he's going to have two grand final losses in the space of a few hours.
That's Fave Silla sucking in the water.
Tough day.
Sure. Be hoping for a little bit later on at the sunny side that I'm sure his bottle won't be filled up with water. As Gareth Tilse now looks to be coming onto the field as well. So Garrett Weaver, he's up front, as is Lamont.
Yeah, Wanderers packing with 7 here. No, yeah, good scrum here from the Hawks. Great control. They want to be careful they don't let it wheel around too much, but that'll be sucking the energy out. And 2 new front
And
rowers.
look at him playing with the ball at the back. Sione now, he goes up the middle, gives the ball to Dan. Dan steps away. They're 15 out now, the Hawks. They need to go wide. They need the ball
Might have
quick.
knocked it on there by the looks.
Yeah, knock on, and Backridge, he's driven back towards his forwards, but it's to no avail. Couple of the wags there, Steve.
Yes.
Yeah, nice game there for Sheldon. He had a very
Yeah, he's had a good game.
very good game. He was strong in the line out. He had a couple of very good carries. And he's clapped off duly.
Yeah, most of the Hawkeys players have played really well today, so it's going to be hard to pick one out, but come the end of the game. But yeah, Sheldon's certainly another one who's done a lot of hard work. Be interesting to see now these fresh subs that Hamilton have, and especially up front. Wanderers are going to have to be on their at their best here.
So it's a Wanderers feed. Their scrum is under all sorts of pressure at the moment. Short arm to Hamilton. They go short side. Looking to play the ball. Vasagotti will go for the corner. And Vasagotti scores.
Yeah, I think not that the result was in doubt, but that try is certainly the way they're celebrating. It seems like they realise they've got it now, and yeah, as I said, it would have taken a minor miracle, but it's certainly near impossible now.
As we see the replay here, nice interchange of passing. So 43-12 is the scoreline. For our viewers out there in this Rams 2017 Grand Final, the Hamilton Hawks, well, they started the season as absolute favourites. Everybody was saying no one would come close. And They had a couple of upsets throughout the season, Hamilton, and they've left it all for today.
Yeah, well, you know what they say about great sides, they pull out the performances when they're needed, and Hamilton have really left it in no doubt as to who are the dominant side this year in the league, and 3 in a row is a great feat, and you know, hats off to Bubba and his team, because they've really shown a masterclass here today, and as to why they are, you know, up there with the Singleton RAMS side of the late 90s.
Singleton Bulls.
Singleton Bulls, sorry. Yes.
As the flag goes up. It is, of course, the Rams.
The Rams League, yes.
2017 Premiership, and that, again, Paul Dan kicking the goal, 45-12. And now, with the game all but finished, the restart's taken again. Simmons, he'd be sick of drop kicks by the end of this.
He's certainly got to practice a few today, isn't he?
So now they go wide. Sione again, taking 2 or 3 with him.
They've certainly
McNeil.
still got a bit of running in them, haven't they, Hamilton?
McNeil,
Wow.
don't underestimate his game here today. He's made a couple of try-saving tackles that could have easily turned the game if Wanderers had have scored. Paulson. Now they go to Sione again. Sione runs sideways and straightens up his line.
He's done a lot of hard work for a big fella.
Yeah, he's got through the whole game as well, which is a testament.
Oh, good hit there on Lamont.
Yeah, but Lamont proving... Oh, he turns the ball over.
Yeah.
Spoke too soon. As Kilmurray goes in with the last tackle. Paul Dan
there, I think, as well.
looks like he may have a shoulder problem. Kilmurray looks spent as well. So they'll bring on a couple of subs. Looks like Church might be coming on.
It's all happening now. I think they're probably going to empty the bench. Give everyone a little bit of time in a grand final.
And Paul Dan, he can hold his head high as he comes from the field. The veteran.
He's had a great game today.
Wasn't expecting to play any part in first grade this year.
Yeah, we talked at length about the 2 veteran halfbacks, and Paulie Dan's really done his side a real great service today. Led them from the front, and
Well, just the way he's controlled the game in regards to his referee management, dare I say it, has helped them out. And Christensen comes on the field. Walsh, interestingly enough, has been replaced. They go to the front again. Church goes wide. Now they find Dylan Amate. He runs across field, and again another good savage charging run by the centre. Paulson. Nice hands there by the breakaway. Well, that one crept up high. And if we're going to stick to the rules, he's going to get some time in the bin.
Yeah, he's going straight for the yellow there, and yellow card. Hasn't even deliberated.
Yeah, so unlucky there as Backrich and Christensen getting a bit of push and shove as well. Yeah, definitely crept up, careless, not reckless, but around the head. To be fair, we've had a tweet in, the only team that has beaten Hamilton this year, Southern Beaches, and they retained the Hawthorn Cup as well.
Yeah, you know, during the season we did say how we'd like Southern Beaches coming up, and obviously they met their nemesis with Wanderers, and you wonder now whether a Southern Beaches Hamilton final might have proved a closer contest.
Oh, Garrett Weaver hit hard. Well, you can't take anything away from the 2 Blues they got here in the end. Unfortunately, it's not been their day here today. As the clock winds down, Lamont goes into touch. Rowan Kelly, the former Central Charlestown player, coming on the field. Former captain coach, as is Mulhern.
Steve Sione coming off, and he can certainly...
yeah, he's had a massive game. Both those players, Hal Nukunuga, he's had a massive game as well.
Yeah.
As has this man, Vasagotti, coming from the field as well. Rowan Kelly immediately trying to make an impact out there. You can see Peter Backerich, he's having a good old-fashioned cry down there.
Why not? He's had a great game today as well.
Yeah, he's
Peter Backerich. He's an unsung hero.
Well, he's one of the heart and souls of this Hamilton pack, really, over the last 4 years.
Yeah, he
didn't start the year in first grade and played his way back in.
He certainly leaves nothing left in the tank when he leaves the field.
2 minutes remaining. Church.
Dalbo keeping them in line down there. Maybe putting a cap on their early celebrations.
Yeah. Fun police Dalbo, they call him.
Certainly contrasting benches, isn't it, when you look down?
You can see the Hawks crowd now. They're singing the song. Church. They go wide. Inside ball. That was Fallen.
Oh, jeez.
Ben Ham coming over the
acrobatics.
top. Then they go up the middle. Tills can't get the ball away. Popping up now. That was for now. Here's Lamont.
Shit.
Lamont goes to Bainavalu, and he's going to be held up. As Rowan Kelly with a very good clean out there. Paulson stands wide. Kelly has the ball. Kelly goes wide. He's going to be hard to stop from this distance. Taken around the legs by Emmanuel, who throws himself at it again.
He's held on there.
Yeah, unfortunately there, McDonald now takes the quick one.
Geez,
should have given it earlier, maybe. Yeah. Simmons is out wide. Now Billy Coffey. He shows some strength, and he goes up the middle. Here goes Coffey. Coffey, he's got pace. But that, again, McNeil with a try-saver.
Great try-saving tackle. And again, Wanderers very slow to get up to that breakdown and might be lucky to win that. Certainly outnumbered at that breakdown.
Well, that's the fourth time McNeil one-on-one here today. He stopped a certain try.
And he's a hard man to stop one-on-one, Billy Coffey. He's very strong upper body, and McNeil, great tackle, as you said again. We are into injury time, and got to wonder how long we have. I don't think we'd have too long. There's a few injuries now.
We'd have a couple. There's been a couple of incidents and a couple of injuries. Dylan Amate there.
He's been really good today too in defence, and there's been a lot of talk about that centre clash with Dylan Rowney and himself, and he's more than matched up.
Yeah, great tackle there by McNeil. And you can see there, Dylan Amate just coming out with a forearm injury maybe. But he's going to be right to play on.
Yeah, might have used all their subs at this stage. Did I deserve that?
Yeah, a couple of heckles from the crowd as everyone seems to be walking out. Except the Hamilton supporters, who no doubt stay for the presentation, which is just about to kick off. Hamilton 45-12. Wanderers, they want another try here as Rowney now goes wide to Coffey. Coffey now looking to get one-on-one with McNeil, and again McNeil round the ankles, and Cal McDonald goes without it. It's a knock on. It's going to be called back.
Yeah, that was good play there from Wanderers in the 81st minute. Good crisp passing and give Billy Coffey a bit of space out wide.
Yeah, it's good to see the back line clicking in the 81st minute, Steve.
Yeah.
Here today.
Yeah, unfortunately, dare I say it, too little too late.
Well, there's the trophy, Steve. Hamilton Hawks will lift it 3 years in a row.
Yeah, again, you've got a feel for Wanderers. They've been the losers on those 3 occasions as well, so it's a bit of pill to swallow, but yeah, there's always next year, and sometimes you just got to stick it in the memory bank.
Erase it from the memory bank, maybe.
One way or the other, mate.
45-12 here in this Rams 2017 Grand Final.
I think everyone down in the front here is starting to wait for that whistle. Get those medals on the necks and the trophies awarded.
If we're going to give a man of the match, Steve, who are you giving it to?
Oh, I'd have to say, there's so many, but Steve Sione for me, just so consistent all game.
Oh, quick touch taken by Ham. This could be a try. No, again, Hamilton holds strong. They're 5 out now, the 2 Blues. Here's Simmons, goes wide to Rowney. Rowney again. He's well accounted for, throws it along the ground to McDonald, and McDonald palms a couple off, but again, the Hamilton defence, they adjust, they realign, and they're just too good here today.
Yeah, too good, and they've just been up to everything that Wanderers have thrown at them. There's a bit of a scuffle here, and
Dylan Rowney throwing 4 or 5 good punches on Rowan Kelly. Little man on big man. Now, Simmons goes wide, goes behind a Rowdy who somehow got himself out there.
Great tackle.
Yeah, nice work again on McKillop out wide. Hamilton just too good now. They've turned the ball
got an
over.
advantage here for diving off the ball, but
it's a penalty, and the touch judge goes over on the far side.
I wouldn't be surprised if this is reversed.
Yeah, yellow card.
Gareth, if the touch judge is linked up, you'll be having a word, there's no doubt.
Tonks there.
It's going to delay the end of this game, I would have thought.
No mercy rule here today, Steve.
No, mate, no. Grand final. Yeah.
So they're going to have a chat here.
To see
the referees will get a bit of extra time on Bar TV Sports.
Be interested to see what has actually transpired here. It might be Dylan Rowney might find himself in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, Dylan Rowney will find himself in some trouble. A young Nelson Bay kid. He's a very fiery personality.
Yellow card.
Growing up in the wild streets of Nelson Bay. They breed him tough there. And
yeah, you got to learn quick.
I'll tell you what, punching Rowan Kelly's head, he probably would have done more damage to his fist.
Yeah.
And that's one for the judiciary certainly to look at. So plenty of cards here today.
Yeah, it kind of screams what Wanderers have gone through. They had a penalty 2 metres out.
So kicked into touch by Joe Ackersdyke. And the Hamilton Hawks. It's 3 in a row here at number 2 Sports Ground. What a game, Steve. What a display of rugby by the Hawks side. 45-12. Who's your man of the match?
For me, I can't really go past Steve Sione. I think he was so consistent. He got them go forward ball. His exit players out of the 22 were second to none. Every time he made 5, 10, 15 metres. Yeah, Steve Sione for me anyway.
Yeah, certainly. I agree with you there as well, with special mention to McNeil saving 3 or 4 tries out there. But it was an emphatic display there by the Hamilton Hawks. Thanks very much for a great year in the Rams 2017 Premiership. The Hamilton Hawks grand finalists 3 years in a row against the Wanderers, and 3 years they have been the victors. Thanks very much, everybody, for joining in throughout the year. All our major partners, including RAMS for the NHRU, Mascot, Wilson & Co, and Compass Editions. Thanks very much, Steve. It's been a pleasure having you all year.
It's been fun as always, Gareth.
And we better go and celebrate ourselves because it's our silly Sunday coming up.
Yes.
And, of course, Elders Insurance. Thanks very much. I'm Gareth Wozik, and we will catch you next time.